afternoon, everyone. Welcome to DYOR podcast show. And today we have a special episode, and it's about the metaverse. And even as we speak, we are hosting it in a virtual world. And I'm pretty amazed, even more than you listeners. So um, I'm privileged to host this meeting with the Metagrapher, one of a very talented, let me say talented, or other person who has been in this field for long, in the world of Afrikas, and let him introduce himself, then we host the show.
Nice. So thanks for having me, Azad. Um, it's amazing. I've been wanting to have this podcast here for a while. I actually built this in like almost 3 months ago. I was to start a podcast, then stuff happened, so it never happened. So I'm glad this is the first podcast that we're actually hosting here. So if we get more interest, we can have more podcasts here. So it's a free space for everyone actually. You can just customize it for whoever. So personally, I'm a digital creator. My name is Matthew Nyao, and in the interwebs, I'm called Metagrapher on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere in the metaverse. So I started in graphic design and digital marketing, working on my own startups for like since 2017. Then I got into 3D design, and that's almost the same time when I got into crypto and NFTs. Then I realized the metaverse is something that was actually coming up back in 2021. There, July, that's when I learned about Decentraland. Then, since then, it has been a very interesting journey. I've done a lot, still thinking of doing more. We have a lot of projects going on. We have done a lot of events, created a lot of experiences, wearables. So I'm amazing to share. I'm happy to share my journey and whatever opportunities the metaverse has to offer.
Yeah, and I'm so
and all these technologies are being built. We are building the experiences, we are building the platforms, the hardware, the software, the communities, the use cases. So it's actually very interesting. So Ready Plan is a real depiction of the metaverse in future, or what we have in mind when you talk of the metaverse. When you introduce someone to Decentraland, for example, like the graphics, they are not that great. It's low poly, so they're like, this is not a virtual world really. Also, when you introduce people to the sandbox, so people have that problem while trying to understand how the metaverse is supposed to be a genuine reality, and yet the graphics are not that realistic. So Ready Player One is the place to go when you want to learn such stuff. Anyway, I think everything starts at like very early stages where no one knows what they're doing, but you all have the same goal, and that's what is happening in the metaverse right now. So in terms of the metaverse in relation to crypto and blockchain, I'd say the metaverse has been around. The idea of the metaverse has been there. VR has been there, but when it comes to the metaverse economy, because the metaverse is more like a virtual world where people can do real world activities, have real world connections, and have a digital economy held hosted on a virtual world. And when you look at the early beginning of the metaverse and games, that was not really that possible because the technology was not really there. But now we have blockchain, which allows people to trade inside the games and outside the game. So let's say, for example, the avatars we are wearing will be NFTs. Like someone can, let's say a fashion designer can create digital fashion, post it on the metaverse, and anyone can buy and like wear it in the metaverse or even trade or sell outside the metaverse on a very different marketplace. So the metaverse has allowed us to track buying and selling of assets in modern games, and that has been enabled by the blockchain and the underlying technology. That's NFTs and crypto. So NFTs also allowed the selling of digital land. So like Decentraland was the first. I'm not sure if it's the first or the most popular. The pioneer of virtual real estate together with the sandbox. So the idea is you can own a piece of a game. So let's say you have the map of a game, like the way GTA has a map. You can own a part, like where the gas station is, and you can be able to build whatever you want, be able to run your own mini economy within the virtual economy. You can sell wearables online and be able to share your creations. So the main thing is that on the blockchain, everything is mutable. So once you create a wearable, you can't delete it. But also the main thing is that you can track people who have been supporting you and buying your digital assets, your creations, and you can get your royalties every time it's sold. Like in Decentraland, the creators get 2.5% royalties from all resales. So like right now, Afrika Lcub which is an African community. We are working on a virtual fashion brand, and we built our first wearables on Decentraland. Then we'll move to Special, then to Sandbox, and every other place. So we'll be earning royalties every time, and we'll be able to support our creators in the long term, even after 2 years, after 3 years, as long as people keep trading our assets, we'll be able to earn from them. So that's simply how the metaverse and crypto come together. So NFTs are the digital assets in the metaverse. So you can sell anything, wearables, assets like chairs, uh, anything, artworks as NFTs, anything, even trees, anything. And then the cryptocurrencies are the main form of trade or value exchange. That's the currency that allows the trade to happen. And every metaverse has its own cryptocurrency. Sandbox have Sand, Central Land have Mana. It is special, but they don't have their own cryptocurrency yet. So I think I've summed up everything.
Yeah, you actually talked about almost everything in a nutshell. And I remember when I attended the I think it was Metaverse Architect Summit and Decentraland. I was so amazed. At one point, I saw some Japanese got a piece of land inside Central Land, and they set up something like a casino. So you can get into the casino using the avatar, just like we're having a meeting inside here. And then people go about their businesses, and they're trading real world money, and the currencies are in crypto. So I think that's also another way of kind of marrying the metaverse and blockchain and cryptocurrency. Then, as the Metagrapher just said, there's so much. I mean, there can be a whole economy running inside the virtual world. Like there could be people just making the wearables. The wearables are in layman's language are like these clothes that we are wearing right now. You will check the video out in YouTube. Yeah, so there are people who are talented in making such things and then they sell them, and the currency that is used is. I'll talk about Decentraland. They use mana probably to list their wearables. There are people who are selling pieces of land and such stuff. Oh, and here I think there's a Metaverse summit, so we'll talk about that too. Yeah, and Matthew, so probably I'm super interested in getting into the Metaverse and stuff. So can you also kind of just talk on some of the skills that are required to get started in the Metaverse? And probably some tools that you need. Obviously, a laptop is one of them. So
Yeah,
on the soft
nice,
skills
nice.
needed.
Just to, yeah, nice, nice. Before I get to that, you've been talking of the event organized by the Metaverse architects together with Decentraland. That was a hackathon that was organized, and I think that's where we met. Actually, that's the first time we met.
Yeah, yeah. I was
And
so amazed by whatever you people were doing.
I remember we slept. We slept at the yeah. We slept at the hotel. If you were there that day.
Yeah, for like 2 days, just trying to
So,
build stuff.
so actually, we are even organizing a second hackathon with the same guys. They are called Metaverse architects. They are very amazing people. One of the most popular Metaverse gaming studio in the world, and they started in Decentraland. Earlier, it was actually called Decentraland Architects, but then they changed the name to accommodate all the other Metaverse platforms. So we are organizing another hackathon together with our Metaverse Summit on those dates. So we'll share more. So we hope to have more people get involved in building the Metaverse, because that's the only way we'll attract more Africans, and all this. It's a very big space. Like, there's so much stuff that you can do in different areas, in so many skills. We have so many soft skills that can be applied, so many technical skills. So, for example, in terms of the skills we need, it depends which place you want to be involved in. For example, in terms of Web3, you know how many opportunities there are. There are community managers, there are social media managers, there is designers. So there's always a space for everyone, provided you are interested enough. But if you want to become a builder, the main thing you need to be proficient in is 3D. So if you know basics of 3D, you don't even need to be that advanced. But yeah, the more you are skilled, the better and easier it will be. But you can start from scratch. Myself, I started from scratch. I wasn't that good in 3D, but then I was passionate enough to search everything on YouTube, like even stuff that was not on YouTube, try on myself, follow the documentations. So that's how it has been. The skills you need apart from 3D, you might need some coding skills, but not really every time needed. For example, on Special, you build using Unity, but they also have their own builder, and you never have to code anywhere. If you are building a simple scene like a gallery or a virtual store, just need 3D skills. And then on Decentraland, the same way. If you want to build a simple game, like not a game, I mean something that is not that interactive, like a gallery. My first scene was a virtual gallery on Decentraland. It was actually very interesting because I got someone to rent me for free, to rent me a virtual land for free on Decentraland. I don't know how I convinced them, but I convinced them that in a few years they will make some money. And then there's a way you can put someone as what do you call them? As an operator to your land, so they can operate, but you still own the land on your wallet. The land is an NFT, so it's tied to your MetaMask wallet. So you can add another wallet to be an operator. So just a different kind of permission enabled by smart contracts. So that's why I started, and I didn't have any skills. There is a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you can do. You just need to be open-minded. So once you start with the easy stuff, to go deeper, that is, if you want to create different kind of experiences, like let's say if you want your scene to be interactive, you want people to be able to try out your clothes, your wearables, you want people to be able to shop in a virtual store, or you want people to be able to, let's say, play a game, earn points, get coins, earn NFTs, something like that. You need very simple technical coding skills. Like on Decentraland, they have an SDK that uses TypeScript or is built on TypeScript, so you can build any game on Decentraland, provided you know TypeScript, which is I think a subset of JavaScript. So if you have basics of JavaScript, you can learn TypeScript very easily. I actually learned TypeScript without knowing a lot of JavaScript, and I learned on my first project that needed to use the SDK. I learned it literally within a few days. So provided you're passionate, I think that's the main thing that I tell people. If you're passionate about anything, you can learn anything. So if you want to learn how to code, you just need a little bit of passion. Then you will find yourself searching everywhere on the internet for tutorials, documentations, and there's no way you're going to miss out. You'll always have the capacity to learn. You just need to fill in enough, do the hard stuff. So so coding 3D, and then I think the other thing you need is creativity. Like you have to be creative because you are building worlds, you are building experiences. So apart from that, the other thing is soft skills. Like if you want to be involved in the metaverse, there is virtual events, there is a lot of digital marketing. So myself, I started in digital marketing, so I know a bit of marketing online. Like how do you attract people to your virtual event? So if you have marketing skills, you can still work for a marketing company. Like right now, we are looking for a community manager for our community, Afrika Club, which is the Metameta Lcub, and that's a skill you need to be involved in the metaverse, virtual events, virtual communities. So just like the wider Web3, you still need those soft skills, community management.
Segment. I just wanted the Metagrapher to share with us some of the stuff that you're doing in the metaverse, or rather how you're taking advantage of this amazing innovation. But before we move on to that, I just wanted to speak about some of my thoughts of what we should expect from the metaverse, and some of the things that I've observed or read from certain websites and seen. So you remember during the COVID-19 pandemic, and you can't catch up in the metaverse. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, just after that, if you remember, I think it was some celebrity. He hosted his, I'm not a party person, but these concerts. Yeah, he hosted a concert in Fortnite. I'm not sure if you heard about that. So, what happens in Fortnite? Fortnite is also a bit of like metaverse where people buy skins and wearables, then they kind of play the game. So this celebrity hosted an event inside the Fortnite. Now, bringing that into perspective, I just saw that the metaverse can also be explored in terms of it's like entertainment. People can host entertainment inside this virtual reality. And yeah, so Matthew, can you please share with us some of your projects and whatever you're doing in the metaverse?
Okay, nice. So the artist who held a concert in Fortnite was Travis Scott,
Yeah, Travis.
and he had more than 27 million unique players and more than 12 million concurrent users. So that's people who are actually live during the concert. So that's crazy to think about it. Like, just imagine, where will you ever see 12 million people assemble in the same place? That's not that's not possible at all in the real physical world. But virtually it's possible to have even more than that. So in the near future we'll see even more events, concerts. We have had so many concerts, events. When you go to the Central Land, there's a page dedicated for events. So you'll find live events, upcoming events. You'll see where people are. Like, there's always many people. Last time when you had a Metaverse Summit, we had more than 500 people come to our virtual event. And that's like people from all over the world. And then there's a time we held a tech forum in Centraland for Netflix and Meta and Microsoft, and it had so many people. Like, it was crazy. You can't have that many people conveniently meet somewhere because one is always busy or the space might not be there. We also had another event for doctors in special, and it had so many people. They were seated in a tech forum, kind of a sitting arrangement. So when it comes to virtual reality, the limit is actually whatever you decide. Like, there's no limit. It's 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 a world of limitless possibilities. So I usually say we are living in the best times in history. Like, there's no time in history where you could learn whatever you wanted, like have have so much reach for free, be able to create a digital twin of anything you want for free, and be able to create a virtual economy. Like, all these things that are coming together, and now with AI, you'll be able to build even your own world if you don't have the skills. Like, right now, anyone can become let's say a videographer just by learning from YouTube, and then create scripts with ChatGPT, edit with AI softwares. Imagine, like, you could just think of a movie or a film in your bedsitter and then come up with a movie within no time. So that's crazy when you think about it. Like, this scene, I didn't have to spend anything to create it, and just everything is free. Creating this space is free. Hosting events is free, unless you want very specific advanced features. That's when you have to pay or buy virtual land. But yeah, the possibilities are limitless, man. So there's multiple ways that you can use VR and the metaverse. Of course, the main one is gaming. So you can create games that are specifically for VR headsets or for the metaverse, which interact with the blockchain, or play to earn games. These are games that you can get rewards through blockchain and crypto. So every game has their own native token, which you can earn by interacting with the game experiences or playing with against other players. Most of them are multiplayer. So at the moment, we have been exploring most of this, and currently I'm running two metaverse startups. One is Virtual is Real, which is a VR gaming studio, and then we have Meta Club or Metameta Club, which is a decentralized African metaverse community. So we have a very big community that's growing. It's actually the first Metaverse community in Africa, and the goal was to bring like-minded people together, build African-centric experiences, build African assets, create African wearables, digital fashion. So far, we have held like two events, or I mean like three events, and so many others virtually. We have created so many scenes in the metaverse. We have worked with some of the biggest brands in the space, and now we want to bring more developers and designers and creators. We're organizing a hackathon in October before our summit. So we want to bring campus students or anyone who is out there and is interested, has the basics or is just passionate. I meet people in the events who tell me, "You guy, I just want to learn how to build in the metaverse. How do I start?" So we want as many people as possible like that. So we guide them. We just see where it goes. Imagine if there were like 20 other people like me who are building actively, trying to create metaverse fashion experiences. It would be cool, man. Like when you come to special, you won't be going to, you won't be like lacking somewhere to go. So at least that's what we want to see. So from next year, we'll have very big projects coming up, and we hope to get the right talent, get the right partners, get the right people to fund our projects. And mainly, our main idea was to crowdfund our projects through a DAO. That's of course what the ethos of Web3 are, and we hope to build a very strong community. So we eventually don't have to rely on anyone, and we can just crowdfund if we have impactful projects going, or if someone from the community has a great idea, we can just fund it through the community. So yeah, that's about Metameta Club. And then there's a summit there coming, you can see the date. Then on on Virtual is Real, the VR gaming studio, we build on all the metaverses, we create all kinds of experiences, games on Decentraland, Sandbox, Special, anything you need to build with Unity, we create virtual wearables, we create VR experiences, exhibitions, all that kind of stuff. We have worked with the biggest brands in the world. So it's just the beginning. We're also looking to get more people to join our team. So both of the startups are in very early stages, just the same way VR is very early, but we are betting big on this technology, and we hope in future everyone will be in the metaverse. So we hope to create all the experiences that people need, so that when they come, they have somewhere to go and
Looking forward to hearing more from him. So just before we wind up, I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that the Metagrapher touched on when we were talking about the concert that was held in Fortnite. So I guess some advantages of the metaverse, perhaps it's something like in the real estate. The owners, or rather the people who are selling the real estates, can also showcase the clients around their homes virtually. This can be done using VR or even just using the platforms like this one that we are using to hold this podcast. Even tourism sites can be recreated in virtual reality spaces, and tourists can take a virtual tour. Then again, I'm not sure if this one is true, but I think even in education, people can actually visualize stuff. Like, for instance, in the case of medicine, I think 3D models of anatomy can be recreated, and during lessons, or rather when people are being taught, they can easily visualize whatever they are being taught. So that's just my imagination, Matthew. I'm not sure if my imagination is leading me to the right path towards some of the advantages of the metaverse. Even an art gallery, I think some people can create like a space and showcase some of their art galleries in their virtual space, like we said before, where in the central land you can buy a plot of land and build whatever you want. So someone who has some artwork can either buy or lend some space in the metaverse and even showcase some of their artworks. What's your take on some of my theories? Let me call them theories because you're well versed in this world more than I am.
Okay, in terms of those use cases, like they're very real, and some of them have actually been actualized, like what you've been seeing in Decentraland and Special and Sandbox. Like some of these popular ones, we have seen people like Netflix do experiences in the metaverse to show their films, to market their films. We have seen McDonald's, Coca-Cola create NFTs and enter the metaverse. And in terms of, I'd say in terms of VR, it's where we'll start seeing real applications. Like when VR becomes affordable and becomes, like smaller, not the big cumbersome stuff that I have to wear. So right now, in terms of real estate, there are many people that, in terms of education, a lot of people, we saw a Japanese university, I think it was Tokyo University, create a digital twin. So they have a metaverse campus. Same to Dubai, they are building a metaverse campus. So there's a lot of applications. In Decentraland, we have even like real estate companies that have created replicas. We have banks who have created digital twins in Decentraland. We have virtual stores in Special. We have so much stuff. Like I think I'll showcase some of them, like just so people can see on the screen. Like just show small videos, then you will show them on YouTube.
Yeah, that will be perfect.
But there's a lot happening, and I think we need another episode that we go into that, like the actual use cases that are being implemented.
Yeah, definitely. We have to do a certain second episode. Yeah, the metaverse is so large that we barely scratch on the surface, and maybe this is just a concern. How would you address the concern of people skeptical about the metaverse, making people lose the sense of physical interaction? Like now, for instance, maybe me and you are friends, and all we do is just meet in the metaverse, but we don't meet physically to probably. Maybe let's say we are into something like playing chess, and we just do it in the metaverse. How do you address people who are skeptical about people losing their sense of physical interaction?
In terms of that, I think there's a big misconception on like how internet or virtual reality is going to affect, because that if you look at like right now where we are in terms of tech, in terms of mobile usage, people are already glued to their phones the whole day. Like your mobile phone right now is an extension of you. It's something that you have to deal with. Like you have to use every time. You have all your contacts are on WhatsApp. You have so many conversations that there are people you have been working with and you only meet online. The only people you know from Twitter you have never met. And they are real connections. You won't say, oh, this person you have met on Twitter, so that's not a real person, so I don't care about them. You get? So
Yeah.
we have already been introduced to the idea of a virtual world. It's only that it hasn't been massive or somewhere where you can experience in in an immersive way. So that's a concept that you have already been introduced to. I saw a meme recently that was saying in the 2000s we were being people were being told like stop using the internet because the internet was like an escape from the real world, and then now the real world is an escape from the internet because they are literally living virtual lives and having virtual jobs, virtual meetings, everything. So I don't see anything very different from what I've been doing. So the effect is just a continuation of the same effects the internet has given us so far. So nothing that big of a change that you're going to see.
So the metaverse doesn't have very extreme disadvantages as of now, except maybe the complexity and just like you said, maybe expensive, big VR machines. There may be some other, let me call them disadvantages or limitations, apart from the two that I've spoken of.
Pardon?
I'm saying, are there some other disadvantage or limitations that right now the metaverse is facing? Rather, let me say challenges, apart from the technicalities and probably let me say like things like the VR, the tools that are needed to experience the metaverse. Is there any daring limitation that you think people who want to involve in the metaverse may face?
I don't think there's I don't think there's anything new that we are facing. It's the same things like lack of skills, any new technology that comes up, it always comes with the same challenges like adoption. People are skeptical. The day you say people are like, it's going to affect our usual lives, all that. But then it's just because they are afraid of change. It's something they're not used to. So people always resist change. Like when mobile apps are coming up, social media, people are like, Facebook is bad, blah blah blah. Twitter is bad, but now they can't do without it. And it's not that bad if you are able to manage your consumption, you know what I mean? But then people are always skeptical. So it's something usual. And then in terms of skills, we need new skills to develop. It's like at the same thing at the beginning of mobile apps, there was a lot of gaps. Like we needed UX designers, UI UX designers, developers, backend developers, but now we have a ton of developers. Even I think the supply has exceeded the demand, but I don't think so because there's always room for adoption. I mean, for innovation. So you'll never have more than enough developers. So that's the same thing with the metaverse, and that's why we are hosting the Africa Meta Summit and the hackathon. Try to introduce more developers to the space. So that's the main thing. The other thing is, of course, hardware to support these experiences are a bit out of reach for many people. Like you've seen, the space needs very good internet connection and like a very stable connection, and then the hardware needs to be on point, otherwise it will lag a lot. Also, that we need, if you want to be immersed in the space, you need the VR headsets, which are not that affordable for for a typical household. So it will take time for these technologies to grow, and that's always the case. So most people are like, Metaverse is dead, VR is dead, but what I see is the beginning of something big. Yeah, doesn't matter how long it takes. We can all agree it's going to be the future.
Yeah. What I like about so much documentations. If you just go to the Decentraland website, you'll find so much information and documentation that if you're interested, you can just follow and learn a lot. And also, if you follow things like Discord channels, you follow some people on X, or even if you follow Metagrapher, you'll always find documentation or some links pointing you to learning about everything. Yeah, so just as we are winding up this conversation, I'd like you to just talk about what we should expect at the Africa Metaverse Summit. Yeah, and the date, and probably drop us your social media handles or where we can reach you about Metameta Lcub and your other startup.
Okay, so in terms of the summit, it's a follow-up from the first summit that we had back in 2022. It was in October, almost the same date. It was actually on 28th. So the event, we decided it's going to be an annual event, and then from there we'll be adding more experiences with time, try to partner with different people. So this time we want to focus on Kenyan startups who are building in the metaverse and the VR ecosystem. So we just need to show the world that people are actually building. We've been building for long. We have a community of builders and enthusiasts. So we just need to showcase them. So the main thing about this time is showcasing. So when you come, you're going to see what people have been doing, what people are envisioning, what people are innovating on. We have people building custom VR headsets here in Kenya. We have people building virtual fashion platforms here in Kenya. We have people building wearables, people creating real estate projects in the metaverse, people creating AR experiences. So yeah, we just need to show the world that Africa is ripe for the support to bring this project to the masses. So that's the main thing. And we'll be having a hackathon. The hackathon, of course, is to introduce developers to these new technologies, how you can build in the metaverse. We'll be giving them tutorials, guidance, and coaching, and anything they need to create around topics that they'll be given. And at the end of it, we'll be able to recruit some of the most passionate and skilled and the ones who are willing to learn to our team. We have a partnership with one of the major metaverse platforms. We're going to announce it with time. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, in terms of other partnerships, as Metameta Lcub, since we are an African VR and metaverse community, we want to partner with everyone in the space who is building, who is thinking of representing African culture, heritage, history in the Metaverse, and creating VR games or any O3 games, or any type of communities hosted in the Metaverse, NFTs, NFT communities, NFT collections. We just want to come together and have that creative explosion. When you have multiple people working towards the same thing, you'll always have very sweet results. So we are willing to work with anyone. We are in talks with all the major metaverse platforms, and they'll be coming to Kenya. We'll be looking for like any kind of partnership. Whoever is looking to expand to Africa, we want to help them reach the right audience and reach the right developers. So hopefully we'll be able to get the right people to work with us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to attending the summit, and yeah, I'll share this with everyone so that everyone who is enthusiastic or rather just curious about the metaverse and blockchain will get to experience whatever I experienced in the first summit. It was pretty amazing. I saw so much, and I'm still amazed, and I'm looking forward to whatever all of those projects that you've mentioned right here, the real estate people, the fashionistas, and everything that is going to happen. Yeah, and so Metagrapher, please drop us your social media handles and for Metameta and yours and any other that you'd like to share with us.
Pardon on that. Sorry, I
Yeah.
was looking at something else. Then I didn't share.
Oh yeah, I was just saying you can share your social media handles where people or other the listeners can reach out to you for the podcasters, but for the people on YouTube, they will see it in the recording.
Yeah, you can see their Metagrapher at 0x3 much. Then on IG the same thing, and for Metameta Lcub, just search Africa Meta Club on Twitter, on Instagram, and search for Virtual is Real on Twitter and Instagram, and both of them on Facebook, everywhere. So you can follow us everywhere. You'll see our website. We have all our socials on our website. We have forms on our website to reach out to us. Our contacts are there. You can reach us through Twitter, majorly. Twitter and our websites. So I think that's it.
Yeah, I'll drop your social media handles in the episode descriptions. So I guess
nice.
Yeah, I guess awesome. That's it for this session. Yeah, it's been a wonderful session, and I believe we've discussed about 2% of what we are supposed to talk about. So I'm looking forward to hosting you in the next episode. We talk about so many other things that we have not talked about.
Yeah, actually, we have several spots on this scene. We have another fireside on the other side, like somewhere on a hill there, and we have even let me just run through the teleport. There's another fireside there that people can meet. Then there's a boat where we can chill and talk on a boat. And then there's a Bulls arena. You see somewhere to teleport from there. you can actually teleport and come to the Bulls arena. So it was actually inspired by the bull run. We wanted to have a conversation on crypto. So we'll still have it. It was organized by Chasing Mavericks. There was a debate about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Is Bitcoin the only true cryptocurrency? So we were actually to have this conversation here, which was physical. So we should have a follow-up of that discussion. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think next session we'll be talking as we are walking through all these sceneries, and then we just talk about everything that's happening. Yeah, I can see some pools here, Ethereum.
Yeah, and you have our wearables here. Yeah, our wearables on Decentraland, these are Decentraland wearables. When you click on them, it will take you to Decentraland to buy. You click on the portal. It's only $5 to buy one wearable. We have sold a couple. Every wearable has 1,000 copies, so enough for everyone. And there is other portals here to some of other scenes that we have created. Anyway, yeah. So I think that's it. Anyone can come to this scene. So you will put a link to this scene somewhere. Then maybe when the YouTube video is up, we are going to put a portal somewhere to the then in the scene introduce things like places to learn more about your podcast. You can even create a custom place for the DYOR podcast actually. So we just show how you can use the metaverse to market yourself, the content creator, or market your business.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and I guess that's the end of this show. So see you in the next one, and none of this is a financial advice, and do your own research. Thank you so much, Metagrapher, and we are definitely doing the next episode soon enough. Goodbye.
Awesome.